Madam Speaker.
Announcement.
Yes, honourable members. I am pleased to announce that we will be hosting the 4th edition of the National Youth Parliament on the 21st and 22nd of August 2025 here in the Chamber of the National Assembly. Youth parliaments have developed worldwide, providing young people with a platform to discuss issues of national and international importance. There are several models. In Mauritius, our youngsters are invited to engage in parliamentary simulations, and thus they can deepen their understanding of democratic processes and express their views freely on matters which are of concern to them. They can exercise fully their rights and liberties as proclaimed in the International Convention on the Rights of the Child and in our Constitution. In keeping with this spirit, this 4th edition of the National Youth Parliament will bring together 76 young individuals aged between 14 and 23 to role play as members and officers of the National Assembly. Intensive training and preparatory sessions starting on Monday, the 4th of August 2025, will enable them to communicate with efficiency and learn how to develop their leadership skills while having a deeper understanding of parliamentary history, legislative procedures, and the rules and decorum that guide the proceedings of this August Assembly. Honourable members, during the event, the participants will engage in debates centred on the Sustainable Development Goals and other themes. They will discover how they also have a role to play to promote peace, justice, and liberty. This is an excellent opportunity for our youth to draw our attention on issues which, as adults, we may not see in the same way. It may be an eye-opener for some of us. In any case, as civic education is not yet a reality in all schools in Mauritius, this is a unique occasion for our youth. Honourable members, I therefore seize this opportunity to invite you all to attend and provide valuable encouragement to the participants through your presence over the 2-day event on 21st and 22nd of August. I thank you for your attention.
Papers have been laid. Question?
Yes, Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I've given notice of the following private notice question addressed to Dr. the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Defence, Home Affairs and External Communications, Minister of Finance, Minister for Rodrigues and Outer Islands, whether in regard to the progressive phasing out of the social allowances schemes financed through the Contribution Sociale Généralisée, CSG funds, he will state A, the number of employers contributing thereto, indicating the amount collected therefrom since January 2025 to date, and projected collections for the financial years 2025 to 2026 and 2026 to 2027, and B, under each respective social allowance scheme, the one number of beneficiaries concerned therewith, and two, amount expected to be saved on a monthly and annual basis, respectively, until the complete phasing out thereof. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Let me at the very outset remind the House that the former government, in a bid to win the 2019 general elections, announced on the 1st of October 2019, on the occasion of the International Day for the Elderly, that the monthly basic retirement pension would be increased from 9,000 to 13,500 without any consideration whatsoever on the sustainability of such a decision. C'était clairement un bribe électoral. Seulement 5 semaines avant l'élection de 2019. Madam Speaker, the former government decided to introduce the CSG to finance the additional budget deficit created by this measure. However, in so doing, they simply destroyed the pension system by abolishing contributions to the National Pension Fund established since 1976 and which served as the cornerstone for our retirement system, providing financial security and stability for our citizens. With regard to Part A of the question, the rates of CSG contribution in respect of an employee earning up to 50,000 rupees a month, or 1.5% and 3% of basic salary for the employee and his employer, respectively. As regards an employee earning above 50,000 rupees a month, the rates of contribution are 3%, and for the employer, 6%. I'm informed by the Mauritius Revenue Authority that from January 2025 to date, the number of employers from the private sector who have contributed towards the CSG is 33,291. In addition, there were some 10,026 self-employed who have contributed to the CSG, and furthermore, the government has also contributed to the CSG. The total amount of the CSG collected from employers during the period January 2025 to date amounts to 5.1 billion rupees, of which 4 billion is from the private sector and 1.1 billion from the public sector. The total amount of CSG collected from employees in the private and public sectors amounts to therefore 2.6 billion rupees. As regards self-employed, they have contributed a total of 123 million rupees during the period January 2025 to date. The projected CSG collection from employers for financial year 2025-2026 is 9.6 billion rupees, and for financial year 2026-2027, it is 10.9 billion rupees. The total amount of CSG collection, that is including employers, employees, and self-employed, is projected to be 14.7 billion rupees in financial year 2025-2026 and 16.7 billion rupees in financial year 2026-2027. As regards to Part B of the question, Madam Speaker, the previous government had introduced a number of schemes under the Social Contribution and Social Benefits Act instead of paying the increase in the pension. First, the CSG income allowance was introduced from July 2022. Second, the CSG child allowance was introduced as from July 2023. Third, the independence allowance was introduced as from July 2023. Fourth, the CSG school allowance was introduced as from July 2024. Fifth, the pregnancy care allowance was introduced as from July 2024. Sixth, the maternity allowance was introduced again from July 2024. Seventh, the revenue minimum guarantee was introduced in July 2024. And eighth, the equal chance allowance was introduced in July 2024. With regard to part B1 of the question, I'm informed by the MRA that the number of beneficiaries under each scheme since January 2025 to date is as follows. 1, 349,168 under the CSG income allowance, 38,783 under the CSG child allowance, 6,780 under the independence allowance, 84,478 under the CSG school allowance, 3,909 under the pregnancy care allowance, 11,117 under the maternity allowance, 58,562 under the revenue minimum guarantee, and 610,117 under the equal chance allowance. Madam Speaker, all these allowances, except for the independence allowance, were planned to end abruptly in June 2025 by the previous government. I'm also informed by the MRA that for the period January 2025 to date, a total amount of 7.6 billion rupees have been disbursed from all these schemes. In addition, Madam Speaker, government is paying the CSG retirement benefits, the industrial injury benefit, and the disability allowance. During the period January 2025 to date, a total of 2.1 billion rupees has been disbursed for these expenditures. The previous government must have known, surely they must have known, that these allowances were not sustainable. Let me quote the former Minister of Finance when he replied to a parliamentary question in October 2023, confessed, and I quote, « Il ne reste donc rien par rapport aux contributions de la CSG », unquote. I would also like to inform the House that for financial year 2024-2025, payments effected under the CSG far exceeded the contributions being collected by some 9.3 billion rupees. Madam Speaker, the compassionate government, we are ensuring that the CSG allowances, instead of ending abruptly, as was planned in June 2025, we have decided to gradually phase it out over the next 2 years. We are also providing that vulnerable individuals and households registered on the social register of Mauritius will continue to receive these allowances in full, including the independence allowance. Furthermore, we also provided that the payment of the disability allowance to persons over 60 years who are now not eligible for basic retirement pension but will qualify under the income support criteria. B, the increase of the revenue minimum guarantee allowance has been increased from 500 rupees to 899 rupees in financial year 2025-2026 and a further 1,890 rupees in financial year 2026-2027 so as to ensure that a full-time worker earns a minimum monthly revenue of 20,000 rupees. And C, we are maintaining the equal chance allowance of 2,000 rupees per month for households earning less than 20,000 rupees monthly. Madam Speaker, the previous government had introduced the CSG and knowingly undermined the very purpose of the National Pension Fund. The NPF, I remind the House, was established in 1976, operated as a contributory scheme. That is, both employees and employers made mandatory contributions, which were then invested to ensure long-term sustainability and to provide retirement benefits which were linked to individual contribution. In contrast, the CSG was designed as a pay-as-you-go system. That is, a tax where the funds are credited to the consolidated fund, whereby current contributions are immediately, therefore, used for payments, with no direct link between what an individual contributes and what they ultimately receive. the CSG is rapidly revealed deep structural weaknesses that now threaten the very foundations of our pension system and the fiscal health of our nation. In regards to Part B2 of the question, there would have been significant savings in relation to expenditure, that is, if we had implemented what the previous government planned, that is, ending the payments in June 2025. On the contrary, we are making provision for the payment of the allowances over the next 2 years, despite the fiscal challenges we are facing. In addition, we are taking steps to reform the pension system with a revamped NPF. In this context, as I have announced in the budget speech, the setting up of a commission of experts to look into the reform of the various pillars of the pension system, as well as the revamping of the national pension system, is ongoing. The Ministry of Finance is currently liaising with both the IMF and the World Bank to assist in the formulation of the terms of reference of the Commission. I would not like, Madam Speaker, to preempt the recommendations of the Commission, but however, it is obvious that the bulk of the CSG contributions in its current form would be used to finance the new NPF system. Madam Speaker, I wish to emphasize that review of the CSG allowances needs to be considered in conjunction with the overall revamping of the pension system. This reform is absolutely critical and has to be looked into in a global or holistic manner. It does not only aim at enhancing fiscal sustainability, but will also ensure a parity between what each generation pays and receives, thereby promoting fairness in intergenerational burden sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Yes, first question.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. As far as I know, those allowances were never meant to be stopped abruptly, that is in June 2025. In his reply, the Honourable Prime Minister referred to what he stated in the budget speech, that is 2 months ago, that is for the setting up of a commission of experts. Already 2 months have elapsed. Can we know from the Honourable Prime Minister when that commission will be set up?
Yes, Prime Minister.
First of all, let me remind the Honourable Leader of the Opposition that he himself voted for that abrupt stopping of the CSG. And it was in the final Miscellaneous Provisions Act of 2024. It was meant to amend the Social Contribution and Social Benefits Act, and it is said, and he said it also, to stop the payment of these allowances in June 2025. You seem to have forgotten that you voted for it. You didn't realize that you voted for it. As for the Commission on the Pension, I just mentioned that we have already chosen, but we're not naming him officially because we want to name all the members, the person who will preside, and also we are waiting for the terms of reference because you have to be very, very precise on the terms of reference. And the World Bank and the IMF are helping out with this.
Thank you. Your second question, supplementary question.
Yes, Madam Speaker, the phasing out of the CSG allowances will no doubt affect the livelihood of many families in this country. Now, during the second reading of the Finance Bill, the Honourable Prime Minister determined the sum of 20,000 rupees as the minimum monthly revenue till the end of the financial year 2026-2027. Can the Honourable Prime Minister confirm to the House whether the salary compensation for those eligible for the revenue minimum guarantee will be absorbed this time by government? And can he also confirm, based on what he said during his intervention on the Finance Bill in the House, that there will be no increase of the minimum monthly revenue till 2027?
Obvious, Madam Speaker, that with the mess that they left us, where do you get the money from? Print money from the bank again? From the central bank? No question of doing that. No question of doing that. As for you asked for the compensation, salary compensation, this is a matter for the PRB, and we are looking at it because there was no money in the coffers. So how do you distribute money? We do not intend to print money from the bank.
For the salary compensation, I meant for the private sector, Madam Speaker.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
For the salary compensation, he meant for the private sector. That's what he just said. So maybe you can reformulate, please, Leader.
Question whether this will be absorbed by government. Salary compensation are paid for workers of the private sector and the public sector also.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition surely knows this is an annual thing that happens. It's annual.
Your third.
So it will be absorbed by government then, for both private and public sector. Can the Honourable Prime Minister confirm that the purchasing power of a majority of Mauritian citizens will take a hit, and this will impact not only those families but also small and medium enterprises?
Prime Minister?
I'm not quite sure I understood everything, but whatever you say, the fact is that you made a mess of the economy and we're trying to redress the situation.
Your fourth question?
Yes, Madam Speaker. The Prime Minister recalled that in the budget speech, he had announced a sum of 2 billion rupees instead of the 10 billion promised by government to reduce prices of basic commodities. Can he inform the House where matters stand and whether the mechanism has already been put in place for those 2 billion rupees?
Honourable Leader, I'm sorry. It seems to me that doesn't arise from your question. But if the Prime Minister wants to reply.
No, I was going to say it doesn't arise from the question, and furthermore, we never said 10 billion. We said for the first year we are doing this, we are putting this 2 billion rupees.
You have a further question?
Yes.
Yes?
With regard to the housing loan relief scheme, which will be phased out over the next 2 years, and the home ownership and home loan repayment schemes, which will not be renewed, will the Prime Minister confirm that these decisions could significantly impact low and medium income families who very often rely on such programs, Madam Speaker, for home ownership? And secondly, can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House what does government intend to do to help those families?
First of all, I'm not sure where the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is taking out all these statements that are supposedly made. We are looking at it, as I said, in a holistic manner, everything. I mentioned all the allowances that they gave without any thought about whether it was sustainable or not, and I mentioned all of them. And this is what I'm referring to.
Nonetheless, Leader of the Opposition, if I may, your question is on contribution sociale généralisée. Which are derived from the CSG, all right?
But these were not actually the schemes are not financed from the financial form of the CSG funds. These are nothing to do with the CSG funds.
Don't speak sitting down. You finished? Yes, your friend wants to speak.
I have two supplementaries, if you allow. The first
I will
being...
allow you one to start with.
Yes, thank you. The first being, given that the low-income earners earning less than 20,000, which are being guaranteed a minimum salary of 20,000 for the CSG income allowance and the minimum revenue guarantee, which is going to stagnate in the next 3 financial years to 20,000 rupees, as the Prime Minister no doubt knows. How will he protect those families from the rise of cost of living and to make good on his promise to protect purchasing power of the lowest of the low?
We've already taken 2 measures to protect those at the lower rank. First of all, we just mentioned the contribution. We are doing 2 billion rupees to stabilize the prices. Secondly, we are adamant that we must try to stop this horrific depreciation of the rupee. 46% over 10 years, 46%. Already the rupee has appreciated against the dollar, I think by some 5%, if I'm not mistaken. So these are the measures we are taking.
Second question, yes?
Madam Speaker, may I ask this another one? May I ask the Prime Minister, given that the CSG allowances, including the CSG income allowances, including the CSG family allowances, that is child school, maternity and housing are being cut by 33%, one-third, while the budget doubles down on sugar tax, hikes in motor vehicle and road license fees, and also significantly widens the VAT net to thousands of small retailers, which will have a significant increase on the cost of living. How will he protect the rest of those persons earning, therefore, 20,000 or more up until 50,000 from the significant increases in the price of living, making good on your promise?
Should have asked the former Minister of Finance when he was destroying the economy, what was he going to do for that? You should have asked him.
Okay.
Last question.
Yes, last question.
Thank you. The Honourable Prime Minister in his replies stated that some 10,026 self-employed have contributed to the CSG. Now, with regard to those self-employed, will the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House whether now this category of workers who were contributing to the CSG fund will now be asked to contribute to the whole NSF and NPF system?
As I said, Madam Speaker, we're looking at the whole pension scheme. We want to re-establish the National Pension Fund, which was destroyed by your government. We are appointing a committee. We are waiting for the terms of reference. We could do the terms of reference, but we would like to have experts to guide us. The World Bank has huge experience in that, and also the IMF, and they are about to give us the terms of reference.
Thank you, Prime Minister. That is it for P&Q today. I call Honourable Prime Minister.
Motion.
I'm sorry, motion. Motion. I went too fast. Motion.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I beg to move that all the business in today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
The question is, it's seconded. DPM, yes? I'm sorry, I didn't see. The question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Statements by ministers none. Public bills, second reading.
Yes, Honourable Minister of Agro-Industry, Food Security, Blue Economy and Fisheries.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. It is against the backdrop of a PNQ, which Prime Minister has replied to very lengthily in relation to a prohibitive forbidden tax called Contribution Sociale Généralisée, that I move to give comments in relation to the three bills moved by Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. And to me, these three bills are all encompassing. The crux remains the Finance Bill, and the Finance Bill is an omnibus legislation with 66 clauses. I shall comment on Clause 47, amendments to the management of public sector debt, and Clause 57, which highlights the amendments to the Sugar Industry Efficiency Act. Madam Speaker, Clause 47 is the backbone of the Finance Bill, and it is the appropriate response to the huge economic challenges that the country is confronted with currently. Social spending, laced with corrupt practices, had grown over the last decade to unaffordable limits. And it was not financed by revenue, but financed by debt. If high and unsustainable debt is not addressed more forcefully, we will be into a serious economic and financial crisis. And do we have the huge sovereign wealth fund like Singapore? Certainly not. Many countries like Argentina have defaulted. Those who recall the Greek financial crisis know that its origin lay in cheating on economic data. And this is what we found out upon assuming office in November last. And Prime Minister said it loud and clear in the parliamentary statement he made in December on the state of the economy. And we know that GDP figures were grossly overstated, budget revenue were inflated, and public debt heavily underestimated. MSM as a cheat gave a passport to the then Prime Minister to bluff and run down the economy. The amendments to the Finance Bill are our lifeline, our lifeblood for decent livelihood. In 2014, under Labour-led government, total public debt as a percentage of GDP was 60.5%. The provision to Clause 47 sets up an electronic information monitoring system, and it will record information relating to public sector debt received from general government and public enterprises. Performance-based has to be the outcome. As a responsible government, Madam Speaker, we have taken measures to put the country on a sound fiscal path to bring public finances in order and under control. And in view of the dire economic situation, we are compelled to hold back our electoral promises for some time. The country cannot continue living beyond its means without facing a crisis. Our soaring debt burden has eroded our ability to respond to domestic and external shocks, and we have to urgently rebuild our fiscal space to reduce our vulnerability to disasters. The budgeted reform to slowly or gradually raise the entitlement to old-age pensions to 65 years old follows from demographic changes that increase the number of pension beneficiaries relative to younger taxpayers. Our fast-aging population is driving up pension, health, and other social cost benefits, which will be increasingly borne by the younger generation. With an aging workforce, for every employee, there will be a retiree sooner than expected. As a responsible government, we cannot hijack the future of our children and grandchildren. We are a notch above just status. Is it the legacy that we want to bequeath? Either we take corrective fiscal measures and create tax buoyancy for investment in productive sectors, or go downhill with outflow from global business. The Finance Bill means redress and road to recovery. Instead of loading the country with even more debt, we have instead chosen to raise higher tax revenue upon companies with annual turnover of 24 billion rupees or more, and those who have broad shoulders to curb government indebtedness. The fair share tax contribution is unavoidable to narrow the budget deficit. A significant part of the tax increase is temporary for a short period of 3 years, Madam Speaker. Putting innovation at the center of a growth strategy to enhance overall productivity is unavoidable. As a government, we have to be highly competent and effective in the delivery of public services and in the design and execution of public investment. We have not refrained from making hard choices. The country's future is at stake. We have to ride the waves with innovative changes. Under our leadership, brain drain will become brain gain. Madam Speaker, let me refer to Clause 57 of the Finance Bill, which amends the Sugar Industry Efficiency Act. The corporate sector in the sugarcane industry has long benefited from comparative advantages under the law, and they have no statutory obligation to provide land equivalents when land is converted for meaningful economic activities beyond agriculture. However, they do have a moral and legitimate obligation to meet government's objectives under the 12th Schedule, Part 3 of the SI Act, namely, to plow back at least 50% of the proceeds from land conversion into sugar production at either field or factory level, or into diversification within the sugar sector. We need bagasse, we need biomass. Over the last 10 years, there's been a vertiginous fall in renewable energy production to 18% only. As to production of electricity from bagasse, it's a shocking 12% only. B, to fully compensate the loss in agricultural production by generating an equivalent amount of such production for at least one crop cycle of 8 years by putting under sugarcane cultivation of the land. 2, implementing projects relating to water and energy-saving irrigation methods. It has to be a win-win situation for all stakeholders. And I call upon the corporate sector to honor its obligation. Madam Speaker, accordingly, Section 26, 28, and 29 of the Act are being extended to extend land conversions, provisions beyond early retirement scheme, voluntary retirement scheme, and to also include early termination of contract of employment scheme. But where there are rights, there are obligations, Madam Speaker. This is not merely a legal adjustment. It is a matter of justice, and the corporate sector must live up to its responsibility towards those employees who opt to retire under early retirement scheme or voluntary retirement scheme or early termination of contract of employment scheme. I had a meeting with representatives of workers on the 27th of July, and I gave them firm assurances that the rights of workers will be respected and obligations of the corporate sector or big planters, their obligations have to be honored. They were taken for a long ride, far too long, by the previous regime. For recall, Madam Speaker, the case of Bel Air Agriculture Limited in 2029 on the eve of the National Poll. The employment was terminated under the circumstances which fell short of the exit provisions of the law. 13 of these employees remain in limbo to this date without compensation, without the compensation they rightfully and lawfully deserve. It is our government, Madam Speaker, that is now addressing the trials and trauma, and the Finance Bill 2025 regularizes such cases and ensures that any termination of employment in the sugar industry is done in full conformity with the law. Under the new provisions, the authorization of the ministry will be mandatory, with the Mauritius Cane Industry Authority providing a faithful report. The amendments will also provide exemption from land conversion tax under sections 26, 28, and 29 of the Act. This will enable sugarcane companies to recover the costs incurred under the early termination of contract of employment scheme and thus meet their obligation towards affected employees. As of today, a second batch of employees has not yet been able to proceed under the early termination of contract of employment scheme due to lack of funds. And this measure will empower the concerned company to raise the necessary fund, thereby allowing those employers to finally receive the rightful compensation. Let me emphasize this legal amendment supports both existing and future sugar companies to ensure timely and judicious implementation of the early termination of contract of employment scheme for sugar state employees. Amendment to the 4th schedule of the Sugar Industry Efficiency Act. Madam Speaker, further amendments are being proposed to the 4th schedule of the Act by adding a 13th institution, namely the Rosebel Sugar State Board. And what is the rationale of the amendment, Madam Speaker? In view of the urgent need to re-engineer the operation of the Rosebel Sugar State Board, currently facing undue financial constraint, Rosebel Sugar State shall be exempted from land conversion tax. Amendment is being brought under the 4th schedule of the SI Act. The exemption will facilitate the strategic redevelopment of the sugar state lands, the attraction of private investment, and the unlocking of economic potential of land under the board's purview. It includes agro-industrial, renewable energy, and value-added agricultural projects. Given such exemption, will provide critical fiscal space for Rosebel Sugar State to restructure, to attract partnership, and implement commercial viable projects. It will not be burdened up front by land conversion tax. This measure will contribute positively to the revitalization of the state, will improve land productivity, and it will support national objectives in terms of employment, investment, and sustainable development. Madam Speaker, our colleague, the Minister of Tourism, was unfairly criticized by the leader of the opposition, despite the fact that since April, and I must say, the number of arrivals had continuously increased month after month. But for obvious reasons. They've absconded from their responsibility. You know, what can we expect from an opposition which is void, dull, lackluster, and is a note without a figure, Madam Speaker? Second, in the month of April, the number of arrivals was more than 120,000 visitors. Thirdly, the record was set in May and June with more than 115,000 and 98,000 visitors respectively. So you're doing very well, Minister of Tourism. Well, you always keep it up. Madam Speaker, these performances were achieved during what we call Ease the Low season. The climate has become auspicious, despite the fact, Madam Speaker, that we had to address forcefully and in meaningful manner issues which were difficult but relevant to uplift a nation, Madam Speaker. And today, I can say that people are looking forward to attend horse racing meeting in Champ de Mars. Decency and transparency is back. But then we're a government which privileged dialogue, consultation, and in this respect, government is open to consultation, as was stated by the Honourable Minister for Financial Services, the consultation with global business representatives and MRA to provide relief by way of regulations to big foreign companies which will be subject to qualified minimum top-up tax. And the regulatory relief coming to force with the startup of the qualified minimum top-up tax, and the thrust remains compliance to G20 and OECD business erosion profit shifting. But we will continue to consult with EU on meeting our regulatory obligations safeguarding Mauritius' interests. Our interests are our rights and the privileges of those who are given the opportunities to work in a sector which is constantly growing, where, Madam Speaker, there is brain power. And this is a sector which opens opportunities for many young people. But it's good to recall, under the previous regime, Mauritius was on the grey list established by the European Union. And as we say, nothing is agreed until everything is agreed. Regulations will resolve outstanding issues. Our global business is a model of democratization of brain power. And management of public debt and level playing field are important to consolidate the sector. And we should say never and never to a junk status, which the previous government had brought us into. Madam Speaker, let me end by saying, through these bold amendments, our government is not only addressing the legacy of past injustices, but also securing the sustainability and resilience of our sugar industry and related institutions. The key word remains redress, and we shall redress to give a better livelihood to a nation which is constantly on the march. Thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you. Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame Speaker. Madame Speaker, je ne vais bien sûr pas répéter en longueur ce qui a été dit dans le cadre des débats sur le budget. Je me concentrerai sur les changements, ou plutôt les ajustements que nous avons faits dans le Finance Bill par rapport au discours du budget. Néanmoins, qu'il me soit permis de dire que le but prioritaire en ce moment, avec le budget et maintenant le Finance Bill, le but prioritaire reste la réduction de la dette et du déficit budgétaire, tout en trahissant dans les faits autant de justice sociale qu'au possible, et ensuite d'engager le début de la réforme de tout notre modèle économique. Madame le Speaker, nous avons fait le maximum pour les plus vulnérables de notre société. C'est pourquoi nous avons introduit un income support de 10 000 roupies par personne pour ceux qui ont un revenu de moins de 10 000 roupies par mois, par individu. Et cela nous coûtera je suis sûr que ce sera plus, mais cela nous coûtera quelques 9 milliards de roupies sur une période de 5 ans. Nous sommes en train de nommer une commission d'experts pour réformer tout notre système de pension et trouver le moyen de remettre sur pied un National Pension Fund, nouvelle version, nouvelle vague, si on peut dire. Nous allons réformer, c'est déjà engagé, nous allons réformer le Disability Allowance. Et déjà, je me permettrai de faire une référence à quelque chose sur lequel j'ai travaillé et qui me tient beaucoup à cœur. En attendant cette réforme de notre Disability Allowance en général, ce gouvernement est fier que dans ce Finance Bill, nous amendons la loi sur le Disability Allowance de façon à ce qu'avant, quelqu'un qui bénéficiait du Disability Allowance et qui allait à l'étranger pour des raisons de santé, continuait, même au-delà de 6 mois, de toucher son Disability Allowance. Mais malheureusement, la loi ne prévoyait pas, et c'est admirable que quelqu'un qui bénéficie du Disability Allowance trouve les moyens d'aller étudier à l'étranger. Nous sommes fiers d'avoir introduit dans ce Finance Bill et nous allons voter cela. Et il y a un exemple, tout un modèle, tout un symbole. Une héroïne, une des héroïnes de Maurice, Jane Constance. Vous savez ce qu'on lui a fait? Aveugle. Elle bénéficie du Disability Allowance. Elle va étudier à l'étranger. Parce que la loi le prévoit, après 6 mois, on coupe son Disability Allowance. Ce n'est pas fini. Elle avait un petit compte dans le savings account de la State Commercial Bank. En son absence, alors qu'elle est en train d'étudier là-bas, on vide son savings account. Et pas fini. On lui réclame additionnellement une somme qu'on lui a payée par erreur, entre guillemets, étant donné ce que la loi est. Et on la menace de la police, s'il vous plaît. Tout ça par écrit. Ça, c'est la bureaucratie. Mais le gouvernement précédent n'a rien fait pour changer ça. C'est le début d'une réforme de tout notre système de disability allowance. C'est tout un symbole, Madame la Présidente. Mais pour financer tout cela, pour financer l'income support et les autres mesures sociales, et en même temps réduire le déficit budgétaire et la dette, faire tout cela en même temps, ce n'était pas facile. Ça n'a pas été facile. Et disons-le franchement, nous faisons les riches payer. Nous sommes obligés de faire les riches payer pour faire tout ce qui peut être fait à ce stade pour les plus vulnérables de notre société. C'est pourquoi nous demandons un fair scheme contribution des grosses compagnies, des corporations, des grosses compagnies. C'est dans la loi. Quelques 5 milliards de roupies. nous faisons payer ces quelques 600 personnes une surtaxe, comme dans le cas des grosses compagnies, une surtaxe pour les quelques 600 personnes qui gagnent plus de 12 millions de roupies par an. Cela nous rapportera encore 1 milliard de roupies. Et il y a d'autres mesures. Mais nous sommes obligés, quand on veut réduire la dette, réduire le déficit budgétaire, en même temps, mettre sur pied le Income Support Scheme, et les autres, nous sommes obligés de taxer les plus riches. C'est temporaire, on l'a bien dit, le Premier ministre l'a dit, c'est temporaire. Le taux de fiscalité est augmenté de façon temporaire pour 2-3 ans. Aussitôt qu'on peut, on reviendra à un taux de fiscalité moins fort, mais qui attire plus, surtout les étrangers, Madame Speaker. Mais ce que nous avons eu à faire, c'est faire tout cela sans casser le ressort du développement économique et faire fuir les investisseurs étrangers. Parce qu'on aurait pu annoncer faire de grandes projections, on va, avec les investissements étrangers, on va gagner si on agit de façon maladroite, il n'y aura pas le développement qui finance tout cela. Donc c'est ça que nous avons eu à faire et que je demande à la population, y compris aux syndicats, de bien comprendre. Nous avons fait le maximum que nous pouvons faire pour les plus vulnérables. Nous faisons les riches payer cela. Mais nous ne pouvons pas faire les riches payer et en même temps casser le ressort du développement économique et des investissements qui nous viennent de l'étranger. Madame le Speaker, ce Finance Bill, c'est aussi le début de la réforme de tout notre système économique. Avec, entre autres choses, un Fiscal Responsibility Act à l'horizon. Cela aussi, le Premier ministre l'avait annoncé dans le discours du budget. Nous confirmons que cela viendra. C'est difficile à préparer, c'est difficile à appliquer, mais un Fiscal Responsibility Act, avec toutes les structures qu'il faut, sera voté dans les mois, les années à venir. Dans le cas de Rodrigues, je ne peux pas m'empêcher de féliciter les deux députés, du même côté, mais des deux côtés. Les deux députés de Rodrigues qui ont parlé. Ça m'épate. Les deux discours étaient des discours formidables. Celui de Francisco François, comme toujours, mais le discours de l'autre député de Rodrigues qui a parlé était lui aussi superbe. C'est ça, le Rodrigues d'aujourd'hui. En fait, qu'est-ce que nous faisons? Nous introduisons le performance-based budgeting. Et je note que les députés des deux côtés, tous ensemble avec le gouvernement, ont exprimé leur accord avec cette introduction. C'est une bonne chose. C'est une chose difficile à appliquer à Maurice même. Donc ce sera difficile à mettre en pratique à Rodrigues. Mais ça introduira plus de discipline, plus de rigueur, plus de planification. Je tiens à dire que l'amendement qui intéresse Rodrigues en particulier n'affaiblit en rien l'autonomie de Rodrigues. Et bien au contraire, c'est l'intention de ce gouvernement de consolider, de renforcer, d'étendre l'autonomie à Rodrigues. Madame. Seulement la loi dit, soit l'Assemblée régionale de Rodrigues approuve, soit 2/3 des députés ici doivent approuver. Et nous sommes un peu dans une situation paradoxale, parce que l'Assemblée régionale de Rodrigues, ou plutôt l'exécutif, je me corrige, l'exécutif de Rodrigues a approuvé. Mais il sera demandé à l'Assemblée d'approuver, je cherche la date, le 19 août. C'est trop tard, parce qu'il nous faut approuver le budget, y compris cette mesure maintenant. Donc nous sommes obligés. L'Assemblée régionale approuvera plus tard, il y aura des discours là-bas, très bien, comme toujours. Mais nous sommes obligés aujourd'hui de demander à tous les députés, les ministres qui sont au pays, de voter de façon à ce que nous ayons 2 tiers, comme l'exige la loi, le Rodrigues Regional Assembly Act. Et ce sera, j'espère, d'autant plus facile que les 4 députés de Rodrigues ont exprimé leur soutien pour cet amendement, Madame la Speaker. Ce premier budget, et je prie tous les membres de bien me croire, ce premier budget du nouveau gouvernement a été préparé et adopté dans des conditions très, très difficiles. Un nouveau gouvernement s'installe, de nouveaux advisors s'installent, tout un chambardement qui fait que ce premier budget de notre gouvernement a été préparé, comme je le disais, dans des conditions particulièrement difficiles. Avec 16 ministres sur 24 ministres pour la première fois de leur vie. On n'est pas ministre, mais devenir ministre, la première fois qu'on est élu, est un défi supplémentaire. Mais nous l'avons fait, tout ça. Ça a été difficile, dur, mais nous avons fait tout ça au cours des 7 mois depuis que le gouvernement est en place. Madame le Speaker, l'adoption de ce budget, de mon point de vue, l'adoption de ce budget constitue un moment clé, un tournant dans l'histoire actuelle, l'histoire récente de ce pays. Aujourd'hui, quand nous allons adopter ce budget, cela constituera un tournant. Il y aura un avant et un après l'adoption de ce budget et de ce Finance Bill. C'est un tournant dans l'œuvre de redressement de notre pays, tout en adoptant autant de mesures sociales que possible. Je demandais à tout le monde de bien réaliser que nous sommes en train de faire l'histoire de ce pays. On a fait de beaux discours, de beaux slogans, et d'attaquer l'opposition, tout ça c'est bien. Mais là, nous sommes en train véritablement de faire l'histoire de ce pays. Il y a tout un pays à redresser. Et ce n'est pas seulement l'économie d'ailleurs. Tout est à refaire après 10 ans de massacre MSM. Tout est à refaire, à commencer par l'économie. Et je suis fier, moi, d'être dans un gouvernement qui est en train de faire l'histoire de notre pays en commençant ce travail de redressement de notre pays, de redressement de l'économie de notre pays. Madame le Speaker, bien sûr, il y a bien des promesses électorales que nous avons faites et que nous ne pouvons pas tenir. La population, nous ne sommes pas des sadiques. Nous sommes en train de faire le maximum qu'on peut. Nous faisons adopter les promesses que nous avons faites autant que nous pouvons. Mais il faut le reconnaître. Bien des promesses que nous avons faites de bonne foi, nous ne pouvons pas les tenir maintenant. Le Premier ministre, ministre des Finances, a présenté, il y a quelques mois, le State of the Economy. Tout le monde sait aujourd'hui. Il n'y a pas de bluff, il n'y a pas de mensonge. Tout le monde sait qu'est-ce que le MSM a laissé derrière lui comme faillite économique, comme endettement, comme banqueroute. Cela nous gêne, cela nous empêche d'adopter bien des promesses que nous avons faites. Et même aujourd'hui, la priorité demeure éviter un downgrading par Moody's. Bien sûr, pour la population, downgrading ne veut rien dire, un terme académique. Mais il faut bien réaliser que si nous avions été, ou si nous sommes downgraded par Moody's, c'est tout un effet de cascade, ça. Une pagaille s'ensuit. Les investisseurs, les investissements étrangers ne viendront plus. Si nous sommes downgraded au junk status, c'est pas juste junk status. Comme je le disais, il y a un junk opposition aujourd'hui. Mais quand l'économie devient junk status, il faut réaliser que ce n'est pas juste des phrases en l'air comme ça, c'est toute une cascade de catastrophes qui s'ensuit. Nous n'avons pas eu une tâche facile, Madame le Speaker, de redresser ce mess et en même temps de faire le maximum en termes de justice sociale et de commencer le redressement économique, la réforme économique de tout notre système économique. Mais les promesses que nous avons faites seront réalisées dans toute la mesure du possible et aussi vite que possible dans les mois et les années à venir. Si nous maintenons le cap, c'est pas facile ces temps-ci, mais si nous maintenons le cap, si nous continuons encore 1 an, 2 ans, l'effort énorme qui est en train d'être fait, ben nous serons en position, mois après mois, année après année, nous serons en position de tenir toutes nos promesses électorales. Nous n'avons qu'une seule parole. Mais il faut pouvoir tenir les promesses. Ça ne sert à rien pour l'opposition. L'imitation de l'opposition qu'on a aujourd'hui, ça ne sert à rien de venir souligner. Vous aviez promis ça, vous avez promis ça. Ils ont laissé un mess derrière eux, une banqueroute derrière eux. Nous sommes en train de corriger cela, de redresser le pays et en même temps de commencer à mettre en pratique tout ce que nous pouvons mettre en pratique dans les circonstances actuelles. Madame la Présidente. Je tiens à saluer à nouveau le courage et la détermination du Premier ministre et ministre des Finances. Je l'ai déjà fait, je tiens à, encore une fois, saluer le courage et la détermination du Premier ministre. J'ai été Premier ministre, j'ai été ministre des Finances, et dans les circonstances dont on a hérité là, après les élections, être Premier ministre et ministre des Finances, je me sers de l'expression que j'avais rayée pour mettre autre chose, mais vraiment ça relève du surhumain. Ce n'est pas humain. Et je salue, mais en même temps je sympathise avec le Premier ministre. Nous sommes en train de passer encore par une période très, très difficile. Et c'est pourquoi je tiens à saluer à nouveau le ministre des Finances et Premier ministre. Je tiens aussi, Madame la Speaker, à saluer les fonctionnaires, à commencer par le Financial Secretary, à commencer par le mais tous les fonctionnaires qui nous ont aidés à préparer un budget extrêmement difficile. Les advisors, à commencer par le Very Special Financial Advisor du Premier ministre et ministre des Finances, mais aussi les autres. Et je tiens à saluer mes collègues ministres, à commencer par les nouveaux ministres. J'ai vu les gens apprendre, les nouveaux ministres apprendre sous la pression des événements dans des conditions très difficiles. Ben, je salue surtout les nouveaux ministres aussi, Madame Speaker. Au-delà de ce que, je le répète, au-delà du tournant que l'adoption de ce budget représente, c'est vraiment un tournant, il y aura un avant et un après ce budget. Mais au-delà de cela, la prochaine étape de la réforme de tout notre système économique est déjà engagée. Il y a dans ce budget des mesures et à l'horizon proche des mesures qui vont nous faire évoluer sur cette voie d'un changement en profondeur mais ce changement est déjà engagé. Avec ce budget, avec ce Finance Bill, avec ce budget, cette réforme est déjà engagé, Madame le Speaker. Mais je le dis, il faudra un effort soutenu. Ce ne sera pas facile, mais il faudra un effort soutenu. Mais cet effort soutenu, nous devons le faire au nom des enfants, des petits-enfants, de l'avenir de ce pays, Madame Speaker. Avec, à chaque étape sur cette voie, avec à chaque étape autant de justice sociale que possible. Encore une fois, sans casser le ressort économique, mais autant de justice sociale à chaque étape, Madame Speaker. Autant de justice sociale que possible, que soutenable at every point in time. Madame Speaker, Maurice, l'île Maurice, notre île Maurice, n'a pas le choix. Nous avons un seul pays, nous avons une seule jeunesse, un seul avenir, et nous n'avons pas droit à l'erreur. Merci, Madame Speaker.
Yes, thank you. Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes, Madam Speaker. First of all, let me thank all the honourable members and the Deputy Prime Minister and all the ministers who have intervened on these three bills. We all know, Madam Speaker, I don't want to keep saying it, but we all know the unprecedented state of economic affairs which the previous government left us. How they dilapidated the public funds, public finances of the country, why they deliberately manipulated the economic figures to paint an illusory positive picture of the financial and economic health of our country. Madam Speaker, we could not afford to continue with business as usual and sacrifice the future stability of our nation. Bold actions had to be taken to avert as far as possible the risk of us joining the League of Junk Nations. The Deputy Prime Minister just explained, I also explained in my speech, what happens when you become, you label as a junk state. We don't even have to think about the problems that we would have had. These bills, therefore, mark a pivotal step in our vision to lead Mauritius from abyss to prosperity and secure a thriving, fair, and sustainable future for our people. The journey from recklessness to responsibility has not been an easy one, as the Deputy Prime Minister just said. Implementing structural reforms is inherently challenging. It demands significant time, patience, and courage so that you can deliver lasting change that will benefit the whole society at large. This is the only way to build a prosperous nation where every citizen will have the opportunities to live up or to her aspirations. Il faut, comme a dit le Deputy Prime Minister, redonner à la jeunesse mauricienne le droit à l'espoir et à l'ambition. The path we have proposed is built around three main pillars: economic renewal, a new social order, and fiscal consolidation. The bills give concrete form to measures announced in the budget speech and the annex, as I said, reflecting months of analysis and reflection across the broad spectrum of Mauritian society. The three bills together, Madam Speaker, amend 73 existing laws, providing a comprehensive answer to a difficult and complex context. The challenges are indeed daunting, but let me remind the House, perhaps people don't realize it. The previous government, they amended 96 of existing laws, lumping together laws that had nothing to do with the budget or the finance bill. It's as if an occasion to slip in things. We didn't do this. This is why we bring three bills separately. At the heart of our economic renewal are strategic reforms designed to modernize our industries and make our country future ready. We are charting an innovative development path by ushering in a new investment and export-driven economic model. We are breaking away from what the previous government's flawed and unsustainable consumption-driven approach. We are giving a new momentum to investments in emerging sectors, including the blue economy, renewable energy, AI-enabled industries, and sustainable tourism. All this to promote resilience and high value addition. This budget, Madam Speaker, will fuel our transition to a digital, knowledge-driven economy. It is an undeniable fact that the AI revolution will have a much bigger impact on the world than the Industrial Revolution. Already I can tell you something that might shock some of you. The new CEO of Mauritius Telecom is planning, using AI, so to have a personal teacher for every student in the country. Would you believe this? He's from Singapore, don't forget. So these are the kind of things that we expect from AI. We do not want to miss out on this historic transformation. We cannot and we must not be behind on the curve. We must be ahead of the curve. The Finance Bill renews our social pact to reshape our future together as one people and as one nation. We must grow our economy, but with a commitment to inclusiveness and social justice. To take a phrase that just the Deputy Prime Minister just used, sans casser le ressort. Otherwise, no growth, we are back to square one. Growth is meaningless also if not shared. This is why through the Finance Bill we are amending the relevant legislations to provide for, amongst others, the gradual phasing out of the CSG allowances over the next 2 years. I just explained on the PNQ what the consequences would have been. For the increase of the revenue minimum guarantee allowance to ensure that the full-time worker earns a minimum monthly revenue of 20,000 rupees, and also for maintaining the equal chance allowance of 2,000 rupees per month for households earning less than 20,000 rupees monthly. Madam Speaker, we have made the necessary, though difficult and complex, decision to gradually move the age of eligibility of the PRB from 60 to 65. This will ease intergenerational inequity and safeguard the pension system for decades to come. Let me once again remind the House and the population, we have not changed the retirement age. It was 65, it is still 65. As a compassionate government, we have also provided for the payment of a monthly income support of 10,000 rupees to individuals aged 60, 20,000 rupees if it's a couple, and above, who will not qualify for the basic retirement pension subject to eligibility criteria. We are setting up also a fund, 10 billion rupees, for the price stabilization fund with an initial 2 billion allocation this fiscal year. I just explained that, I think, in the PNQ, to protect the purchasing power of the population. Our policies, Madam Speaker, are guided by the need to balance social coherence and fiscal stewardship. In view of the fiscal mismanagement of the previous government, we had no choice but to come up with a comprehensive fiscal consolidation plan. We are restoring prudence and credibility to our public finances with concrete measures aimed at reducing both the budget deficit and the public sector debt. We have ensured that those who are less privileged are supported, while those who have the means do contribute their fair share to rebuilding Mauritius. Through these amendments, Madam Speaker, in the Finance Bill, let me remind the House, some 81% of employees will now not pay any income tax, 81%. And 75,000 individuals earning between 500,000 rupees and 1 million rupees will be paying less tax. B, we are removing VAT on a range of essential foods to protect the purchasing power of the most vulnerable. And C, we are giving certainty to individuals and the business community as well about the temporary measures. The Deputy Prime Minister just stressed it. Temporary nature of some of the new tax measures, such as the fair share contribution. In spite of the urgency for fiscal consolidation, we have not raised VAT. We have not raised the rate of VAT because we all know it is a regressive tax and will hurt consumers, especially more the lower rung of the ladder and the modest income. Before I come to the specific points made by the two honourable members of the opposition, let me make some comments on the criticisms made, both inside and outside the House. First, comments have been made by those who are desperately, I suppose, trying to come out of the gutter that they have been consigned to. One gets the impression that some prophets of doom in the opposition, including the former Minister of Finance of Sabat Dodo frame, are shouting from the top of Peterborough that this budget is ringing the death toll of the economy. Si cette l'idée de ce qu'il dit, je ne sais pas combien de fois il devait mourir. C'est le ridicule tué, je voulais dire. They are literally as if praying day and night for the country to fail so that they can come out like vultures to feed on the cadavers of people. On the other hand, there are many true patriots, including ordinary citizens, but also some prominent economic operators who have, in the public at large, who are spurring us. They realize, they understand. They're encouraging us, expressing their gratitude for the measure that we have taken in time in this particularly challenging conjuncture. Don't believe what you see all the time. I know there is a team at the Sun Trust. As soon as we speak, they write. They're paid. They're paid monthly. They are paid because, some have unlimited money. They pay. And some people think, hey, people are criticizing. Few people. People understand the catastrophic situation that we inherited and the need for bold and courageous actions. There is Madam Speaker, a Bhojpuri expression, which I think is very appropriate to describe the development philosophy of the previous government. What they said, I said, Ek din ke raja, sau din pik manga.
Will you translate?
In Creole, un jour les rois, sans jour mendiant. Basically, that's what it says. We do not want to perpetuate and instill this mode of living in our population. The House will note that this is not only due to the allowances provided right, left, and center by the previous government. I'm talking about the Gini coefficient. Somebody mentioned the Gini coefficient. This is not only due to the allowances provided. This is due to the allowances provided, left, right, and center by the previous government. Out of where? Huge amount of printed money. And this led to a significant level of rise in the debt level. These allowances were not sustainable. In addition, printing of money, we all know, a student who studies economics in Form 5 knows. If you print money, you will intensify inflationary pressures and drive inflation at a rate which is going to be much higher. It was 11.3% in February of 2023. The improvement in the Gini coefficient has no meaning if the purchasing power of the population has been eroded by a significant increase in inflation. It's an illusion. Third, let me make clear any confusion that Honourable Adina Juval might have created or tried to create in the minds of people regarding the age of eligibility for the BRP. In the budget speech, I announced that we are going to increase the age eligibility for the basic pension to 65 in a phased manner over a period of 5 years using a sliding scale. The operative words are sliding scale, which I don't think you understood. The 5-year transition starts after the 1st of September of this year and ends on the 31st of August 2030. That is, in the first year. Let me clarify. Let's first, you don't understand what a sliding scale is. In the first year, as from September, 1st of September 2025 to the 31st of August 2026, the BRP eligibility age is being increased by 1 year. That is, a person reaching 60 will receive BRP as from the 1st of September 2026 at the age of 61. In the second year, that is from 1st of September 2026 to the 31st of August 2027, again the BRP eligibility age is being increased by 2 years, such that a person reaching 60 will receive BRP as from the 1st of September 2028, that is at the age of 62. That is what a sliding scale is. I could go on in the third year. From 1st of September 2027 to 31st of August 2028, the eligibility is being increased by 3 years. In other words, a person reaching 60 years during that period will receive BRP as from the 1st of September 2030 at the age of 63. It's not that we are cutting the pension for 60 years and you will only get at 65. It's a sliding scale. I could go on for the 4th year, for the 5th year. And until it will be increased again, so that by the time, by 5 years, the person reaching 60 will, on the 1st of September 2034, at the age of 65. That is what a sliding scale is. This completes the 5-year sliding scale increase in the age of eligibility. After this 5-year period, that is from 1st of September 2030 and beyond, the BRP eligibility age will be 65. I hope that clears the confusion in the mind of Honourable Juval, and he will realize it is intellectually dishonest to qualify the work done on the finance bill by the civil servants and the advisors as amateurism. I think you failed to grasp the fact that it is a sliding scale. Let me now come to the 4th point on the CSG allowances. The previous government had planned to end abruptly, and I say it again, I said it in the PNQ, abruptly, it's in the speech. The leader of the opposition voted for that the CSG allowances be stopped abruptly on the 30th of June 2025. This was clear in the amendments of the Finance Miscellaneous Act of 2024. As the compassionate government, we are ensuring that the CSG allowances are gradually phased out over the next 2 years. More importantly, Madam Speaker, all persons on the social register of Mauritius will continue to receive these allowances in full, including the independence allowance. 5th, on the increase in the excise duty on vehicles. I already stated in a reply to a PQ, I think last Tuesday. The purpose of increasing the excise duty on motor vehicles is twofold. First, to curb the rate of increase in the number of vehicles on our roads. We've seen what congestion we have, or how many accidents and all this. And secondly, to address the widening trade deficit and significant outflow of foreign currency. Do you know, Madam Speaker, for the 1 month, the last month, we lost from these imports of vehicles, they tried to beat the deadline, $200 million in 1 month. So approximately 9.6, 9.7 million rupees in 1 month. Last year, I said that before in the speech. Last year, 18 million rupees in 1 year, just for cars imported. If you take all vehicles together, it was around 24 billion rupees. We could not extend the time by more. There was no question of extending. 6th, on the deterioration of the exchange rate. Let me remind the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, during the last 10 years, under the previous government, the rupee has depreciated by 46% against the dollar. 46%. We all know everything we import, practically everything is in dollars. So obviously, if your dollar is appreciating against the rupee is depreciating, everything you import is going to cost more. And therefore, prices will go up. Following the implementation of the new monetary policy measures by the now independent Bank of Mauritius, there's greater stability in the value of the rupee. In fact, the rupee has appreciated, Madam Speaker, against the dollar. Compared to them, 46% depreciation, the rupee has appreciated by some 3.5, 3.6%. Seventh, the qualified domestic minimum top-up, the QDMTT. As rightly stated, very well explained by Honourable Utim. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition, I think, has not understood the concept of QDMTT. We had to introduce this tax to preserve our tax base. I think Honourable Utim explained it very well, but let me add. In 2022, the previous government had already introduced the enabling provisions for this tax. They introduced it, but regulations were never made. As at date, around 30 jurisdictions, including South Africa, UAE, Singapore, UK, and the majority of EU countries have already introduced QDMTT in their domestic legislation. Mauritius, therefore, if we don't do this, would be at risk to losing its tax base against these jurisdictions. This will ensure that Mauritius is compliant with the OECD rules. Madam Speaker, I must emphasize that flexibility has been provided in the bill for regulations to be made for the provision of incentives if required. In this context, a special tax credit will be worked out together with the MRA in consultation with stakeholders and implemented by way of regulations to provide relief to those companies which will be subject to the QDMTT. We mentioned this before. The Ministry of Finance has taken a commitment, following discussions with stakeholders, that those tax credits and reliefs will take effect as from the same date as the tax will become applicable. Eighth, on the reduction of the VAT registration threshold from 6 million to 3 million. Let me remind the House that by joining the VAT system, I think many people, in fact, don't realize, the new VAT registered businesses will be able to recover VAT paid on inputs used, that is, on the raw materials, the semi-finished products, as well as equipment and machinery and all this, in the production of goods and services. The threshold, let me remind the House, the threshold at one time was 2 million at one time. Furthermore, the reduction in the VAT registration threshold will create a level playing field and fair competition among operators in the same business activity. Ninth, on the grading of contractors. The contractor grading system is being democratized in a way to provide greater opportunities for SME contractors. They were being kept out of the system. Only one person was getting all the contracts, as you do. The revised grading system has been aligned with the ceiling set out in the public procurement legislation to ensure fairness but also coherence. Additionally, provisions are being made for the registration of micro-contractors to enable them to participate in these government projects. Finally, Madam, regarding the double taxation of dividends under the fair share contribution, let me remind again the Leader of the Opposition that the solidarity levy, which was introduced by the former government, was applicable on leviable income, that is for levies, which included dividends paid by resident companies. For the purposes of fair share contribution, a similar definition of the term dividends has been used. Madam Speaker, we realize that navigating through the rough seas ahead will not be easy, but we are convinced that through our collective effort and mutual support, we will steer the country to a secure and stable future. Let me assure the House that the reforms in this budget are carefully calibrated. Again, I say time-bound. The Deputy Prime Minister also said it. It is time-bound and guided by our objective to reconstruct the economy and our society. In this context, Madam Speaker, it's good that I quote Moody's, which has brought out a small report. They will have a full report, which is, I think, next week. And look what they say this morning from Moody's. Delays, and I quote, delays in fiscal consolidation that lead to persistently large fiscal deficits, causing debt to stabilize at a high level, would be likely to result in a rating downgrade. They said this. They had said it before, they're saying it black and white. End of quote. According to Moody's, if Mauritius implements a comprehensive fiscal consolidation package that offers the prospect of reversing the rise in government debt, the outlook could be classified as stable. As we achieve fiscal stability and economic recovery, we will pursue a light tax policy. This is an objective we plan to achieve within our 5-year mandate, and bring in this Fiscal Responsibility Act so that no government can act as irresponsibly as they did. Through these bills, Madam Speaker, we are acting with empathy, and we are also acting with a clear sense of responsibility. As we ask every Mauritian to contribute to the national efforts to save Mauritius from the abyss, we will also ensure that every Mauritian will share in the recovery and the benefit of growth. We hope will touch all the people of Mauritius, not just a few. Let us therefore embrace the reforms, not as a burden, but as a foundation. Let us together rebuild Mauritius' bridge to the future, strong and united. Let me end also by thanking the team at the Ministry of Finance, from the FS to the economic advisor to all the other advisors, and also the Secretary of the Cabinet and the staff of my PMO, and also the people from the Solicitor General onwards, so from the State Law Office. With these words, Madam Speaker, I commend these 3 bills to the House.
Motion is seconded. The Deputy Prime Minister is seconding the motion. The motion is that the Finance Bill number 18 of 2025, the Rodrigues Regional Assembly Amendment Bill number 19 of 2025, and the Economic and Financial Measures Miscellaneous Provisions Bill number 20 of 2025 be read a second time. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Committee stage. The Finance Bill number 18 of 2025. Clause 1 short title, Clause 2 Bank of Mauritius Act amended, Clause 3 Banking Act amended, Clause 4 Bills of Exchange Act amended, Clause 5 Companies Act amended, Clause 6 Competition Act amended, Clause 7 Construction Industry Authority Act 2023 amended, Clause 8 Consumer Protection Act amended, Clause 9 Consumer Protection Price and Supplies Control Act amended, Clause 10 Cooperatives Act amended, Clause 11 Customs Act amended, Clause 12 Customs Tariff Act amended.
The question is that clauses 1 to 12 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 13 Economic Development Board Act amended.
Yes.
Chairperson, I move that Clause 13 be amended as per amendment circulated.
Thank you, Prime Minister. The question is that Clause 13 be amended as per amendment circulated. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that Clause 13, as amended, stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 14, Environment Act 2024 amended. Clause 15, Essential Commodities Act amended. Clause 16, Excise Act amended. Clause 17, Fair Trading Act amended. Clause 18, Finance and Audit Act amended. Clause 19, Financial Intelligence and Anti-Money Laundering Act amended. Clause 20, Financial Services Act amended. Clause 21, Foundations Act amended. Clause 22, Freeport Act amended.
The question is that clauses 14 to 22 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 23, Gambling Regulatory Authority Act amended.
Madam Speaker, I move that clause 23 be amended as per the amendment circulated.
23. Yes. The question is that clause 23 be amended as per amendment circulated. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that clause 23, as amended, stands now part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 24, Hire Purchase and Credit Sale Act amended. Clause 25, Immigration Act 2022 amended.
The question is that clauses 24 and 25 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 26, Prime Minister. No.
Madam Chairperson, I move that clause 26 be amended.
Clause 26, Income Tax Act amended.
And I move that it be amended as per the amendment circulated.
The question is that clause 26 be amended as per amendment circulated. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is now that clause 26 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 27, Inscription of Privileges and Mortgages Act amended. Clause 28, Land Drainage Authority Act amended. Clause 29, Land Duties and Taxes Act amended. Clause 30, Limited Liability Partnerships Act amended. Clause 31, Limited Partnerships Act amended. Clause 32, Local Government Act amended. Clause 33, Maurice Strategy Board Act 2024 repealed. Clause 34, Mauritius Deposit Insurance Scheme Act 2019 amended. Clause 35, Mauritius Revenue Authority Act amended. Clause 36, National Archives Act amended. Clause 37, National Assembly Allowances Act amended. Clause 38, National Payment Systems Act amended.
The question is that clauses 27 to 38 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 39, National Pensions Act amended.
Madam Chairperson, I move that clause 39 be amended as per the amendment circulated.
Yes. The question is that clause 39 be amended as per amendments circulated. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that clause 39 as amended now stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 40, National Savings Fund Act amended. Clause 41, National Transport Corporation Act amended. Clause 42, Native Terrestrial Biodiversity and National Parks Act amended. Clause 43, Non-Citizens Employment Restriction Act amended. Clause 44, Non-Citizens Property Restriction Act amended. Clause 45, Ports Act amended. Clause 46, Private Pension Schemes Act amended.
The question is that clauses 40 to 46 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 47, Public Debt Management Act amended.
Madam Chairperson, I move that clause 47 be amended as per the amendment circulated.
Yes. The question is that clause 47 be amended as per amendment circulated. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is now that clause 47 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 48, Real Estate Agent Authority Act 2020 amended. Clause 49, Registration Duty Act amended. Clause 50, Road Development Authority Act amended, Clause 51, Road Traffic Act amended, Clause 52, Small Farmers Welfare Fund Act amended, Clause 53, Social Contribution and Social Benefits Act 2021 amended, Clause 54, Statistics Act amended, Clause 55, Statutory Bodies Accounts and Audit Act amended, Clause 56, Statutory Bodies Pension Funds Act amended.
The question is that clauses 48 to 56 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 57, Sugar Industry Efficiency Act amended.
No, Madam Speaker, I move that clause 57 be amended as per amendment circulated.
Thank you. The question is that clause 57 be amended as per amendments circulated. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that clause 57 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. Aye. The ayes have it.
Clause 58, Tourism Authority Act amended. Clause 59, Transcription and Mortgage Act amended. Clause 60, United Nations Financial Prohibitions, Arms Embargo and Travel Ban Sanctions Act amended.
The question is that clauses 58 to 60 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 61, Value Added Tax Act amended.
Again, Madam Chairperson, I move that clause 61 be amended as per the amendment circulated.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Question is that clause 61 be amended as per amendments circulated. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. Aye. The question is that clause 61 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Oh, you didn't vote? Aye. I can't hear all of you. Okay, the ayes have it.
Clause 62, Water Resources Act 2024 amended.
Clause 63. Yes?
No, 60.
62. Yes, the question is that clause 62 stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. Aye. Now 63. Now 63.
Clause 63, Economic Development Board Smart City Scheme Regulations 2015 amended.
Chairperson, I move that clause 63 be amended as the amendment circulated.
Thank you, Prime Minister. The question is that clause 63 be amended as per amendment circulated. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 64,
One moment. The question is that clause 63 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it.
Clause 64, Transitional Provision. Clause 65, Validation of Resolutions. Clause 66, Commencement.
The question is that clauses 64 to 66 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
First schedule.
Question is that the first schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. Aye. The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
Question is that the second schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Third schedule.
Question is that the third schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Fourth schedule.
Question is that the fourth schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Fifth schedule.
Question is that the fifth schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. Aye. The ayes have it.
Sixth schedule.
Question is that the sixth schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Seventh schedule.
Question is that the seventh schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Eighth schedule.
Question is that the eighth schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Ninth schedule.
The question is that the ninth schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Tenth schedule.
Question is that the 10th schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. Wake up. The ayes have it.
11th schedule.
And I move that the 11th schedule to be amended as per the amendment circulated.
Question is that the 11th schedule be amended as per amendments circulated. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
12 schedule.
The question is that the 11th schedule, as amended, stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. It's a bit tedious, but it's very important.
12 schedule.
Question is that the 12th schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
13 schedule.
The question is that the 13th schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
14 schedule.
The question is that the 14th schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
15 schedule.
The question is that the 15th schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Title and enacting clause.
Question is that the title and enacting clause stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that I do report to the House that the financial bill number 18 of 2025 has passed the committee stage with amendments. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. We will proceed with the other two bills.
The Rodrigues Regional Assembly Amendment Bill number 19 of 2025. Clause 1, short title, Clause 2, interpretation, Clause 3, Section 2 of Principal Act amended, Clause 4, Section 42 of Principal Act amended, Clause 5, Section 44 of Principal Act amended, Clause 6, Section 45 of Principal Act amended, Clause 7, Section 50 of Principal Act amended.
The question is that clauses 1 to 7 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against? Aye. I was looking at him. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Title and enacting clause.
The question is that the title and enacting clause stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that I do report to the House that the Rodrigues Regional Assembly Amendment Bill number 19 of 2025 has passed the committee stage without amendment. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. We proceed with the third bill.
The Economic and Financial Measures Miscellaneous Provisions Bill. Clause 1, short title, Clause 2, Animal Welfare Act amended, Clause 3, Central Electricity Board Act amended, Clause 4, Central Water Authority Act amended, Clause 5, Declaration of Assets Act amended, Clause 6, Fisheries Act 2023 amended, Clause 7, Food Act 2022 amended, Clause 8, Food and Agricultural Research and Extension Institute Act amended, Clause 9, French-Speaking Union Act 2024 amended, Clause 10, Higher Education Act amended, Clause 11, Workers' Rights Act 2019 amended.
The question is that clauses 1 to 11 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Title and enacting clause.
The question is that the title and enacting clause stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that do report to the House that the Economic and Financial Measures Miscellaneous Provisions Bill number 20 of 2025 has passed the committee stage without amendment. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Yes. Honourable members, I have to report to the House that the finance bill number 18 of 2025 has passed the committee stage with amendments, that the Rodrigues Regional Assembly Amendment Bill and the Economic and Financial Measures Miscellaneous Provisions Bill number 20 of 2025, the Rodrigues Bill was number 19 of 2025, both have passed the committee stage without amendment.
Public bill, third reading.
Speaker, I beg to move that the Finance Bill number 18 of 2025 be read a third time and passed.
Yes, seconded. Yes. Question is that the Finance Bill number 18 of 2025 be read the third time and passed. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Yes, the ayes have it. Third reading. Rodrigues Regional Assembly.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Rodrigues Regional Assembly Amendment Bill number 19 of 2025 be read a third time and passed, and also move for division.
Yes, motion is seconded. The question is that the Rodrigues Regional Assembly Amendment Bill number 19 of 2025 be read the third time and passed. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Yes, you've moved for the division, Prime Minister. Honourable members, as per the provisions of Section 75, capital E of the Constitution, any law which alters the Rodrigues Regional Act requires the concurrence of the Regional Assembly unless such alteration is supported at the final voting in the National Assembly by the votes of not less than 2/3 of all the members. We will therefore proceed with the taking of votes by division. Please ring the bell. Thank you. Clerk,
Yes.
will you proceed with the division?
Yes. Dr. the Honourable Miss Tanu. Absent.
She's absent.
Honourable Seaburn.
You have to vote. You have to vote.
Yes.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
Honourable Mrs. Sarabadi.
Aye.
Dr. the Honourable Somtali.
Aye.
Honourable Rukni.
Aye.
Honourable Ram Kalawan.
Aye.
Honourable Ramdas. Absent. Honourable Kiran. Dr. the Honourable Prayag.
Aye.
Honourable Lekiram. Honourable Lebin. Honourable Jagannath. Honourable Jaman. Honourable Mrs. Henriette Manon.
Aye.
Honourable François.
Aye.
Honourable Edouaria. Honourable Edouard.
Aye.
Honourable Miss Doriaou. Honourable Miss Colette.
Aye.
Honourable Kazern.
Aye.
Honourable Bijan.
Aye.
Honourable Bichuk.
Aye.
Honourable Babulal. Honourable Babaji. Dr. the Honourable Omia.
Aye.
Honourable Apollon. Honourable Adrien Duval.
Abstain.
Honourable Venkatasamy.
Carry on, please.
Aye.
Honourable Juman. Honourable Balmoudi.
Aye.
Honourable Miss Anquetil.
Aye.
Honourable Mrs. Liu Govin,
Aye.
Honourable Parapen,
Aye.
Honourable Norsingen,
Aye.
Honourable Mrs. Baburam,
Aye.
Honourable Aliman,
Aye.
Honourable Pierre,
Aye.
Honourable Mrs. Fukun Basha,
Aye.
Honourable David,
Aye.
Honourable Miss Joanna Béranger,
Aye.
Honourable Damri,
Aye.
Honourable Lejonga,
Abstain.
Honourable Gondia,
Aye.
Honourable Wuchit, Honourable Pentia,
Aye.
Dr. the Honourable Ramtuel,
Aye.
Dr. the Honourable Ganga Persad,
Aye.
Honourable Amia Mia,
Aye.
Dr. the Honourable Sukon,
Aye.
Honourable Young Sik Yuen,
Aye.
Honourable Mrs. Navar Marie,
Aye.
Honourable Osman Kassam Mohamed,
Aye.
Honourable Utim,
Aye.
Honourable Nagalingam, Honourable Ramphal,
Aye.
Honourable Asia Baden,
Aye.
Dr. the Honourable Mrs. Jitten,
Aye.
Honourable Soubron,
Aye.
Honourable Richard Duval, Honourable Bachou,
Aye.
Honourable Ganes,
Aye.
Dr. the Honourable Boulel,
Aye.
Honourable Bagwan,
Aye.
Honourable Shakil Mohammed,
Aye.
Honourable Deputy Prime Minister,
Aye.
Dr. the Honourable Prime Minister,
Aye.
Results? Yes, honourable members. I wish to inform the House that the Rodrigues Regional Assembly Amendment Bill, number 19 of 2025, has on the final voting obtained 59 votes, that is, has been supported by 2/3 of all the members as required by Section 75, capital E of the Constitution. I declare that the bill has been read a third time and passed. Yes, the Prime Minister?
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Economic and Financial Measures Miscellaneous Provisions Bill number 20 of 2025 be read a third time and passed.
The question is that the Economic and Financial Measures Miscellaneous Provisions Bill number 20 of 2025 be read the third time and passed. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Yes, Prime Minister. Adjournment.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I beg to move for the adjournment of the House to Tuesday, the 7th of October, 2025 at 11:30 a.m.
Yes. The question is that the House be adjourned to Tuesday, the 7th of October, 2025 at 11:30 a.m. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. C'est comme les enfants qui vont en vacances. Yes, the House stands adjourned.